द हरप्रीत सिंह शो ਦੇ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਇਸ ਐਪੀਸੋਡ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪ ਸਭ ਦਾ ਕਰਦਾ ਹਾਂ ਹਾਰਦਿਕ ਸਵਾਗਤ। ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਕਈ ਹਫ਼ਤਿਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਐਂਟੋਨੀਨਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਸਰਟੀਫਾਈਡ ਨਿਊਟ੍ਰੀਸ਼ਨਿਸਟ ਹਨ ਆ ਕੇ ਸਾਂਝ ਪਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਸਿਹਤ ਨੂੰ ਠੀਕ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਹੈ। ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਵਿਸ਼ਾ ਹੈ ਮੈਗਨੀਸ਼ੀਅਮ ਬਾਰੇ। ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮਿਨਰਲਸ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਰੀਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਘੱਟ ਹਨ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਉਸ ਦੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੂਰਤੀ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਮੈਗਨੀਸ਼ੀਅਮ ਦੀ ਕੀ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਸ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਣੇ ਆ ਐਂਟੋਨੀਨਾ ਤੋਂ। Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you. So tell us today about the importance of magnesium. We hear a lot about it. What are the various factors and various ways by which we can include magnesium in our diet?
Wonderful question. Majority of North Americans are now found to be incredibly deficient in magnesium.
Okay.
So when doctors are testing blood for magnesium deficiency, they usually don't get the good reading of that. And there's why. And even when they do, about more than 50% of people show to be very, very deficient.
Okay.
But the reason blood serum is not a very good testing tool and modality is because only 1% of magnesium is found in blood. The rest is stored in our tissue, in our muscle, and in our brain.
Okay.
So majority of doctors and majority of people who are magnesium deficient, which is almost everybody, actually go undiagnosed.
Okay.
And some of the symptoms of magnesium deficiencies, they would be headaches, cramps, twitching, you know, when people have the eye twitch,
Right.
any muscle twitch,
Okay.
leg spasms, any muscle debilitating, twitching and inability to properly function.
Okay.
Those are one of the first symptoms. And then you go to nausea, vomiting, restlessness, a lot of times depression,
Right.
many other symptoms.
So what are the sources by which we can consume magnesium?
Magnesium comes in really good sources in a good volume and amount in nuts and a lot of greens.
Okay.
And many people don't consume enough.
Right.
So, cashews, almonds, and a lot of wonderful nuts and greens will have a lot of magnesium in them. And in the perfect balance with other nutrients so the body can assimilate and uptake it.
Okay.
Because for example, a lot of people are given calcium supplementation, but it can be very dangerous if it's not given along with magnesium,
Right.
because magnesium is what will actually make calcium soluble. Vitamin D3 and K2 is what actually going to deliver and lodge it in the bone.
Right.
So if we don't have the other added nutrients, calcium will be toxic because it could actually calcify the tissue
Okay.
and causing a lot of spasms and issues.
So now, as you've said, the deficiency which is generally found in the North American population, what are the reasons for this, that we are not consuming much of nuts and grains? Is that the only reason or some environmental reason also?
It is one of the reasons. The
Okay.
second reason is that our soil is very depleted.
Okay.
So our soil today has been very, very severely processed, and we add a lot of fertilizers and a lot of other chemicals that we spray in our food. And fertilizers added to the soil make the soil very depleted and make the plants unable to pull those minerals. The minerals are not properly chelated. There is no proper flora and fauna found in soil, and so there's not the minerals are not digested properly chelated. Plant cannot assimilate it, and a lot of things that we're spraying in our food actually leach the minerals out of it.
Okay.
So our food is very depleted, and that's why we're not getting enough of it.
So now, because the food is depleted, so the other source is just to get supplements. So when we talk about supplements, just tablets of magnesium can be consumed, and how to make sure that what you're consuming is going to be good for your health?
Finding a good quality supplement.
Okay.
So if somebody's working with a nutritionist will always know the high quality absorbable magnesium. If a person doesn't have a nutritionist who they know or who they work with, I would recommend going to a nutritional store. So stores that are specifically geared to education and supplementation and carry a lot of high quality supplements.
Right.
I wouldn't go to a regular store that sells food.
Right.
And for example, Whole Foods would be a good store that sells food, and yet it has a really good aisles of all of the different minerals and nutrients,
Right.
but they have very educated staff
Okay.
on the subject. When you go to other like London Drugs, you really won't find anybody who's very educated on the supplements or the quality of different supplements.
So any pharmacy where you go? Okay.
Natural pharmacy.
Right.
Natural pharmacies will have a lot more very, very educated staff who understands the quality.
Right.
Yeah.
So now we generally hear that in salt also we have magnesium. We are hearing a lot about sodium also these days. Could you just explain us that is sodium bad for our health, and what about the salt?
So that's a very good question, because sodium and magnesium are related. So for our body to properly function, it has to have a balance of sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium. And what we usually do is we throw it out of balance. We give it too much calcium, we give it too much sodium of low quality, and therefore throw the balance of all the others.
Right.
And for example, if the body is very deficient in magnesium, you will lose a lot of calcium through urination.
Right.
And so the person will start having decay of teeth and having a bone decay and things like that. So when we talk about salt, for example, Epsom salt is a magnesium citrate.
Okay.
So a good way for you to assimilate and uptake a lot of magnesium will actually be taking Epsom salt bath.
Right.
Some people will consume the good quality ingestible sodium, not sodium, but the magnesium citrate for certain cleansing, cleaning the body or replenishing magnesium in the body. A lot of treatments, if the person happens to go into the hospital with heart issues, a lot of times high blood pressure, or a lot of issues in managing their coordination, a lot of people would be treated with magnesium.
Right.
But why don't we do that before we get there?
Okay.
So as a natural supplement, is a really wonderful way of preventing a lot of diseases.
Right. So Antonina, now because there's depletion of so many minerals and vitamins in the body, it's not possible to have a pill for every mineral or vitamin. So in today's market, is there a kind of a one pill which can have all these things?
There are a lot of good multivitamins.
Okay.
So there are a lot of very poorly created and bad balanced vitamins, and there are really, really high quality multivitamins that will help address a lot of deficiencies or what we require to take for just maintenance of our health. When people are dealing with a disease is when we use nutrients in high doses at a therapeutic nutrition.
Right.
So if the person has problems with possibly depression, the person has problem with muscle cramping, spasms,
headache,
and constipation. A lot of those things we can now address by using high doses of magnesium.
Okay.
So I would actually use magnesium in my cupboard as in my holistic medicine cupboard.
Okay.
So instead of having diuretics,
Right.
you actually have magnesium.
Okay.
So it's all about properly
Absolutely.
building
How
a really
to
good
package
pharmacy.
that and how to utilize that.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your perspective. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
ਸੋ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਐਂਟੋਨੀਨਾ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਮੈਗਨੀਸ਼ੀਅਮ ਦੀ ਕੀ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਸ ਹੈ। ਮੈਗਨੀਸ਼ੀਅਮ ਸਰੀਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਦੋਂ ਘੱਟ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਸਿਰ ਦਰਦ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਕ੍ਰੈਂਪਸ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਇਹਦੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਰੀਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮਸ ਅਰਾਈਜ਼ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਮੈਗਨੀਸ਼ੀਅਮ ਦੀ ਸਹੀ ਮਾਤਰਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਲੈਣੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ, ਪਰ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਡਿਪਲੀਟ ਕਰਤੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਸੋਇਲ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉੱਤੇ ਫਰਟੀਲਾਈਜ਼ਰਸ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੈਚੁਰਲ ਮਿਨਰਲਸ ਹਨ ਸਾਡੇ ਸੋਇਲ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਉਹ ਖਤਮ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਸਪਲੀਮੈਂਟਸ ਦੇ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਪੂਰਾ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ, ਪਰ ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦਾ ਖਿਆਲ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਜਾਵੇ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਪਲੀਮੈਂਟਸ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲੈ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਉਹ ਚੰਗੀ ਕੁਆਲਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਹੋਣ। ਇਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨਿਊਟ੍ਰੀਸ਼ਨਿਸਟ ਕੋਲ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨਿਊਟ੍ਰੀਸ਼ਨ ਨਾਲ ਸੰਬੰਧਿਤ ਚੰਗੇ ਸਟੋਰਸ ਨੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ।